Thanks for staying with us. So we have a prominent figure in Nigeria's opposition camp who has sparked, controversy with his recent visit to President Tinubu's house as a key spokesperson for Atiku's presidential campaign and a vociferous critic of the president in time past. His actions have raised eyebrow, and you're going to be asking what prompted this meeting and what does it mean for our future in politics. Welcome with us, Segun Sowunmi. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
I'm here. How are you? Good morning.
We're doing amazing, sir. Yes, so you had a visit. You visited our president, and people have been talking about it. They're asking,
what are you looking for?
What are you looking for? What is your agenda? What message do you hope to convey to the public through your visits? Please help us explain.
Okay, thank you. First things first, I have known President Bola Ahmed Tinubu since 1994-95. That's a damn long time ago.
Wow. And
from time to time, we sit and do a very, very soul-wrenching conversation, minimally lasting 1 hour, 20 minutes, which was the last one. Sometimes we do 2 and more.
Wow.
And our relationship is such that even when I don't talk to him for 10 years, I can reasonably decipher, if you understand what you call picture-perfect descriptive narrative. That's a special skill. Why he did this, what could happen, and there will be some, I'm not so sure. I've never been one to mill around leaders or to gravel at their table. I'm a tad too arrogant for that. This last one was a visit initiated, not exactly by me, during the 3rd day of Salah, and I was in the Southwest. I thought about the visit, and I convinced myself on 3 basic reasons why it must happen, or why I must answer. The first is that I do not believe that when the president of your country especially invites you, not in a hostile manner, I do not believe that we have destroyed this country to the level that we no longer can share that kind of relationship. I don't believe. I believe we can. And it needed to be demonstrated. The second reason was that I had become uncomfortable, a little bit worried about the way the democracy, especially around the parties, are going. And I felt that he was excessively blamed for some of the errors of the other parties, which in my opinion are self-inflicted. I needed to be absolutely sure that his mind on democracy is still as it should. And I wanted to ask him some tough questions, albeit in a not so hostile manner or adversarial manner, about certain things, to reveal to me if the mind is still as I have always known it to be.
Okay.
So I wanted to ordinarily go to Judioba and go and play with my friend. I've apologized that I couldn't make it. All the assembly was ready, but that's why I went. Now, I met, well, the ambience of the place is quite good, very beautiful, very clean, very friendly.
All right.
And as Providence will have it, the traditional ruler of my environment, that is the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Okukenu the fourth, Alake of Egbaland, was just in the waiting room when I got in, with two of his chiefs. Even if I wanted to find strengths in the potential anger of people, at least that's my traditional ruler, and definitely is my father, because he's a retired military officer. I'm the son of a soldier. After they'd done about 20 minutes there, I went into the president. We had 1 hour, 20 minutes of the type of conversation we usually have.
So we'll get to that because we have a few more questions.
No, with due respect.
That. Yeah. But I said we'll get to that. We're going to ask you a few more questions.
Yes.
So that you tell us exactly what you discussed. So who's ready to go?
Okay, so I like the fact that you knew there was going to be a bit of backlash on the visits that took place, because you said that because from your introduction you spoke about the fact that you did not expect that our democracy had gotten that bad that the president will call you and you will not show up. So I'm happy you honored the president and the presidency and honored Nigeria. But how did you feel about the backlash, the comments on social media, how people felt like, okay, you've joined the group of people who have moved to the other side or the ruling party side? Did you feel like, did you take it personal? Like, these people don't know me? Or what was your reaction to that, the comment that trailed your visits to the president?
For some times now, I've always been in opposition and I'm in opposition. I had been asking myself, is there a reason why every president on the saddle in our country is hated and then loved immediately he gets down? And as I researched it deeply, I began to feel that inadvertently we have created an adversarial media and communication infrastructure for the country. And I felt that it was even more energized by those who contest elections and fall short and who imagine that the only thing they will do with life is constantly instigate people to anger when policies are just about being laid. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to deal with that, but it's okay. The earlier I dive into the sea and then get the brickbat and the reaction, it helps my thought process on designing what I think we must do to ensure that deep state infrastructure can better manage communication and what you call the general feel of our country. The Chinese will tell you that their system of democracy is superior to the Americans. Among the many things they say, one of the things they say that catches my mind is that they say that if nations are to make progress, they must figure out a way, however democratic or civil, to ensure that they can build consensus around decisions so that nations can at least be pushing the future of their country in the same direction. And if you look at how well they've done in some years, you will know that without a doubt, they have demonstrated that no human race has scaled up that much. I've always been like that. I'm not upset. I just think that we now have to ensure that the mob of the people don't have all of the information or they don't have all of the skills to know what exactly it means when policy is being planned and what are the likely implications and the likely direction of such policy. So other than that, I also know that, yes, as someone that opposition has always had as their asset forever, and I've always been taking the battle of opposition to the ruling party forever, I felt that, yes, they would be a bit upset, and I don't want them to be. I'm not the type of turncoat guy. I don't do that kind of thing. I'm not the type of person who can also be bullied. I will never be. I'm too strong. I'm a typical Egba man, very strong-willed. And I felt that the man is now at his year 2. I could have been all of that much earlier. And I wasn't shopping for any appointment or anything. And we didn't talk about such. Neither was he even telling me, come and join my party. That was not the kind of conversation. It was sort of a conversation between the present leader and a potential future leader who was asking probing questions, not to irritate him, but to figure out whether what he thinks he's doing, he is aware of what the expected outcome according to plan is. And I wanted to also bring him to a point where he could see that it's not enough for your aides to get up and just be saying kumbaya. There must be a way where we can be having this conversation as people who share the common heritage, first of Nigeria, then as Yorubas, in democracy to stabilize our country. I had become extremely tired of an idea that no leader will work or no leader will be appreciated while working. I regretted it after I had visited the president, the now president of Brazil, after I came back and I had asked him, why is your nation working and ours was not? He sent me in the direction of a few people in his cabinet, his Minister of Work, of Agric, his Minister of Homeland Works, and these people of this, the oil industry. And he told his chief of staff to tell them that they should answer every query and try to explain. When I sat with his Minister of Agriculture, and he began to couple, you know, I don't speak Portuguese I don't speak Portuguese, so there's a dolmacher, somebody that is explaining and interpreting. All I could hear him say was, farmer money, school feeding program and all that. And the more he was saying that was the thing that took them out of poverty and made them stable, the more I kept saying, oh God. So this was what Buhari was trying to do. Oh God, oh God, oh God. And if you recall, immediately after I came back from that trip, I went all the way to Daura with all the risk of the road to visit him and ask him, sir, why didn't that thing work and all of that? But long story short, for some time now I've been on the journey that we must have beautiful eyes. Our eyes must be such that we can see good when there is good. Wow. And we must also be able to see what we don't like. We must not insist that to love somebody, we agree with everything they do, or that to be against somebody means we must fear them or hate them. I don't believe in that nonsense.
Quick question.
Another question, sir.
Sorry, this is a quick aside question because of what you just said. When you went to visit former President Buhari, what was it that he told you that, why didn't it work? Why didn't his agri plan work?
Well, without going into specific of the kinds of things you say to leaders, what I can only say is that every generation has an event that takes place in their generation that become like the scale by which they measure things. And for the Buhari generation, all of those guys, I think the Civil War was one thing that impacted how they see the country and even probably life and their own life. I came to the conclusion after leaving, when I finished with him, it was electric. I came to the conclusion that, oh, Nigeria, we must learn to not be so unwilling to see the greater glory of our land. Because in any case, all of our unnecessary rhetoric of anger, putting our country down in a global world, does not serve us well. Yes, I get that the world is flat now and people can sit on their phones and see what's going on in America and all that. A whole lot of them have no ideas what the people that are living in those fancy environments are dealing with. But to the credit of those countries, they have figured out the way to make sure that their deep state communication infrastructure for their country projects their country well. And of course, the citizens to have an opportunity to have that freedom, but not hating their country. So I felt that, okay, we need to now start figuring out how to even make Nigerians patriotic. For really and truly, shall a president say that he's going to keep burning money on subsidy when we really don't have that money? Or shall a president, in all seriousness, take away leave arbitrage, which is a benefit when you think deeply, that would give him the ability to be telling who they should give and maybe even making his friends rich and all that. Yeah. To take it out does not reflect somebody who wants the country broken.
Okay,
you may not
we'll
agree,
take a short break
I have
here.
issues with some policy.
Yeah,
but after that, my visit with him, I can say without any fear of contradiction, that's a very intelligent, very brilliant leader. And his mind is in the right place. And don't be deceived. If he likes, let him stumble, but that is not weak. And he's not ill, not to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. We'll have to take a short break here, sir.
Yeah. He doesn't know the question I'm going to ask him. The touch point of the answers reflected that he had been reflecting on that matter himself.
Okay.
Forget it, that guy is good.
Let's take a breather here, sir.
I like him. Ashaju.
Let's take a breather here. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation with Segun Sowunmi. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're still having a conversation with our guest who is in the studio, Segun Sowunmi, on his visit to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And Waike had a follow-up question.
So, you know, I've watched a lot of your interviews, and you've had a lot of criticism for the President, for the APC, as is understandable as a PDP chieftain. Now, your tune seems to have changed. So, yes, to unadulterated admiration. So, when is your own move? When are you leaving PDP to join APC?
Although I can't see who is asking that question, but let me just go straight and say that.
My name is Yanya.
If you look at even the PDP that I've been with for all of the years, At 2011, because I had the rare privilege of being the Director General of the Goodluck Sambo election in Ogun. And at that time, after that process was done, although they lost everywhere, I won, because I had command and we won that, I discovered, and I had been screaming, that the fault lines are there. This party needs to reform. Imagine how far back, and I didn't leave. After we lost the 2023 election, I had been screaming, even if you don't do anything, after 25 years, an organization can bring in change management experts to look at what they're doing and help them to design improvements. You can't insist that we do it the same way we've been doing it and expect the result. And it's still 2 years into the APC government, and I've not really moved. When they won the election in 2015, to God be the glory, and I hope he's doing very well, Alhaji Lai Mohammed and I had an engagement on the program. And after we stepped out, he said, Segun, this party is meant for men like you. You are progressive. And I said to him, I know, but I want you to build the party organically now that you have won, so that the type of directive principles that would drive the party would be organic. Let me stay here and keep pushing from here. I don't know if and when I will leave, but let me be very upfront. I've always said, and I've said it many times over, if I ever leave the PDP, damn, I'm going to the APC. And why is that? Because at least I can accept that the two main pillars of the APC, President Muhammadu Buhari and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are stable people. They don't jump from one political tendency to the other. And I've been damn stable too. Since 1998, I don't do this hopping about. I don't see the need for it. But if they will insist on destroying the PDP, never mind how much I push, never mind how much I've been.
Are you saying that
if they brought all the rushes of people who speak for PDP from 99,
1 second,
but
please.
none consistently have spoken for that party by like me. Think about it. What have I really even been there?
Are you saying
I've
some
never
leaders
been
in
anything,
PDP are
but it doesn't
unstable?
matter. So I'm not the type of person that is shopping for opportunity. If I have to go to the APC, I will first of all visit my friend, Felix Moka. I will have a sit down with him and ask for the concern of the party. I will read it and try to see. Because you see, after putting in about 26, 27 years in PDP, one of the reasons why I'm irritated by this talk about a coalition that they are doing is that I can't imagine how decent political people we think that it is their responsibility to be looking for a new platform every season. I don't agree. So if I must leave, I must at least go to where I think they can also be stable forever. And I believe that, yes, that party, I know, but Bola has not told anybody is running, and they have not told anybody is not running. And I believe that that party is strong enough. If they were to run an election today, they could win. And even if the candidate had to change, they have enough people there that can take on the responsibility. And if President Tinubu wins and becomes the president for the next 2030, when he finishes his 8th term of the pendulum has swung south, I have a feeling that I can enough men in the back line there, younger people who can take it on. Look at my party.
All right, sir.
Just look at them.
Okay, let's get to a few more questions.
And tell me why anybody should ask me a question of whether I will leave. If I have to leave, I'll take that decision. But I usually take decision soberly and well considered.
I didn't ask you
that decision,
whether you will leave. I asked when. I didn't ask whether you will leave. I asked when.
Maybe you are the secretary of the party who has the responsibility to come and take me. Don't ask me an annoying question. I didn't tell you I was leaving. I gave you enough to let you know how I take decision. I didn't come for your program so you can try to be cheeky with me. Stop that.
I can't be cheeky with you because I'm sure I am older than you. Okay. So I cannot be cheeky with you, sir.
Okay, I don't know who is speaking. I can't see you.
That's Yeni and Nicola Bokuti.
All right,
so let's take a few more questions.
Sister, my beloved sister, Joe. Okay, auntie, I take that back.
I'm not auntie.
All right, sir.
I thought it was one of those young ones who don't know that the fact that they are interviewing someone does not mean that they should start kind of just be behaving.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
but we don't do that
I don't
here.
mean that. You're my big sister, girl.
Yes, sir, please.
All right,
We don't do that here. This is not the station where we embarrass our guests. No,
we don't.
We ask the right questions.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you when.
All right, sir. So let's begin.
You see, I have been your fan for a long time. I have watched you for many, many months. And so your new move shocked me. It shocked me. So I'm like, really? Him too?
But that's why he's here to explain to us.
So
Let's take in another question.
Okay, sir. You said earlier that you've had this long-standing relationship with the president. My question is,
Very long.
why did you decide to take the stance of the opposition, and what's the impact on your relationship with the opposition camp and Atiku in particular?
God bless you. The first part of the question. The thing that produced this democracy was the June 12 issue and the Abiola and all of that. And I was of the view that we must build this new democracy to be nationalistic and pan-Nigeria. I considered that the emotions of we've lost a lot of people, wanted them to be a bit like an AG, maybe if you like the former AG and the former UPN. And I remember I said, it doesn't matter that you want this now, you will want the Nigeria later. As far as I'm concerned, maybe because again, I'm the son of a soldier, we don't know tribalism like that. I opted for a party that I thought was more pan-Nigeria. And I saw the gaps there. But by 2015, when that party then came on board, metamorphosed into another pan-Nigerian movement, I was happy. Because I felt Nigeria now has gotten to the point where if they are not happy with one party, they could be happy with another. And so that was why it wasn't in that corner. But having become a PDP person, of course, it's like a debater in a debating club. Once you bring the opponent to me, I'm going to bring the best way I know how to win the argument, as subtle and as firm, depending on the type of issue and how important the issue is. And I have been particularly mindful over the years that I don't put a criticism on the table without suggesting the on the background reasoning and what would be possible alternative. I can eat every sour grape I've planted because I can justify why it was said so. And if they had been clear, and my sister will understand where we come from, we usually say, and our parents used to say, our grandparents at least, they used to say, when they advise you, they get no advantage in your listening to the advice because that's giving you cheap. But when you don't listen, you suffer the consequences of their sound advice. And maybe later on you will respect the thinking that goes into the advice.
Yeah.
I've always been a Nigerian first man. Tomorrow till tomorrow, next tomorrow, in 20 years' time I will be.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Let me ask you this question, because every action that we take, we usually have in mind the end goal.
I don't think he responded to what's the impact on your relationship with the opposition camp and Atiku.
Okay, very good. Sorry about that. You know, the thing about that is this. I've always said to people love with their hearts. I love Atiku with my bones. But I can't help him against himself.
Away.
If he chooses a path that I know that, how can this be the path? You can't run vice presidency on PDP 2 times with Obasanjo, get presidential candidates on that same party 2 times. I don't agree with him that the next best thing is to be shopping for, like what? If you want a coalition, why are you not coalescing them into your party? Look at your rival, your friend. You guys started together. At best, even if you want to say he's building a coalition, is it not coalescing opponents into his place? The thing about Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that, you know, that guy is something, he has this uncanny ability to make everybody individually feel special. It doesn't matter whether you were a former foe or a friend, present friend, every moment you share with him. I don't know how he does it though. You're going to leave the place feeling that you matter, feeling that he gets it, feeling that what you guys are talking about is important. And there's something about him. When he gives you his word, he will say something like, Koleye, meaning that to the best of human ability, it will stand. You can't, I don't know whether Atiku is upset or not upset, but I know a lot of our followers are talking a lot of nonsense, and I'm wondering how I became attached Atiku just, I've been in PDP since 1999, never leaving. So you can do the maths and say, what kind of person is Segun? When I wanted to go to the president's meeting, I drove to Chief Obasanjo, just like, where's my father? I wanted to inform him, but he was not at home and I had to go. My father tore his card and left PDP, I didn't leave. Otuma Gbenga Daniel, my leader, left PDP how many times and how many years ago, I didn't leave. I'm not that flippant. I'm not.
Sir. Yeah.
But I'm not going to have anybody, with due respect,
Yes.
say that I can love their own for their own benefits,
Okay.
and then hate my own, so that by loving my own now, I'll be guilty. It's not going to happen.
Okay,
If I have to help Bola, if I have to be with him, I have to work with him, if he tells me we're going to deploy the best of our capability, and the best of our ability is not talking, I guarantee you the best of the ability I bring to the table is not talking, Spokesperson interface was created so that we can be engaging the society.
Yeah.
Better and deeper things are available that I can put at his disposal.
Yeah,
if
I agree
want.
with you. So let me ask you this question. You know, every action we take, there's always the end goal in mind. And I would like to know what your end goal was, having this conversation with the president.
You're brilliant. I like that.
Then secondly, I want to ask two in one so that we can move. How do you respond to, your critics who have seen this as a betrayal of your roots of opposition?
Okay, good. Let me start with the end goal. When I was done with him, I sat up, I slept a bit, and then I woke up about 3 o'clock, reflecting and asking myself, Segun, what really is the end goal? And to be honest, I can't really immediately potential possibility. There are also potential consequences. If you say, Segun, come and be in my government, I'm not the type of person who tolerates psychophancy. I can't stand when a leader is seated and people are standing one after the other using just doing psychophancy. It gets on my nerve. So I have to think about that, which is the kind of thing you see around them. Then the other thing is that I'm the type of person who truly likes that the nation is working. Shall I now for that not want to contribute? So when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. If I want to contest an election, we'll discuss it. And that would be on the basis of which political party, given that I come from Ogun, the Southwest, can best carry my ambition. Then the second question, what my critic and all that.
Yeah.
I have asked myself very deeply that are we going to be a nation of seeing no good in people? Or are we going to be a nation, am I going to be a leader that will be managed by the mob? Leaders don't instigate society or motivate society so that they can be obedient. That's how you create mob culture and a lot of irritation. Leaders instigate society so that they can be discerning and take clear, intelligent decisions. I have no need for a mob. Because those who want all these obedient mobs, I'm not meaning in terms of Peter though, I'm just using a phrase. Leaders don't instigate society for obedience. That's like you're trying to make people just kowtow to you and lick your spirit. I don't do that kind of thing. I want society to be able to open up their mind. I want them to be able to think. I want them to take rational decisions for themselves. Okay. And even, let me tell you something. I told Ashaju, any election that has not been casted and counted cannot be called in the bag. So you may win or you may lose. It's not my business. What is more important for me is I have a need for you post-president. So better make sure you put yourself together and be alive and come back to the Southwest, because there are things I want to do with you tomorrow or we have to do together. Does that look like someone that is searching for appointment from anybody?
Okay,
why can't I try to be president?
A few more questions,
honestly,
sir. Thank you.
I've really enjoyed this conversation, extremely enlightening, I must say. I came into this interview on the fence and I've enjoyed the perspective you gave, because I've always felt that we cannot, if any president wins, we all win. if the government wins, we all win. I don't necessarily always have to agree with the person in power, but I must support the person to win. And I'm happy that's the stance you are putting forward as well. With that in mind, we're 2 years into this administration. I would love to hear from you which areas you have seen could be improved upon by the current. And I know you might have told him personally, but I feel this might be a good platform to also let Nigerians know that as much as I see the good, I see the gaps. And these are the gaps that I feel this is how you can manage it.
Thank you. Oh, God. Thank you. It has to be you now. It has to be you. This is in our gene. Now, listen, my dear sister. I told him, I said, our nation is running a neoliberal, economic, market force-driven set of policies. The people who carry the can are the poor. You must scale up on how we're going to make life easier for them because they can't wait. They have waited for so long and it's getting tedious to even tell them to take it easy. I told him that. I also told him, you must be careful with the excess and garrulosity of your aides. Your aides, and I don't want to mention names. I said your aides have the tendency to speak at people instead of speaking to them. It's bad enough that they are dealing with the policies that has come from so many missteps. You have not punished the people that caused this pain on the Nigerian people. Please, do not tolerate that people are speaking at people and making people feel irritated even more. Because your aides are already getting the privilege of being around your table. The vast majority of the Nigerians, they just want a good country. And you know what he said? He said, Segun, I get it. I'm trying to make sure that whatever we do can structurally endure. That on the security, because I told him about I wasn't comfortable that our people are getting killed in the north. He was giving me sleepless nights. He said he was going to scale up recruiting forest guards, about 1,000 each in local government. He said he was also going to make sure that they were going to recruit some locals, specific number of locals trained by the Nigerian police as a department, deployed specifically for local government, so that the people that are handling Ake will be people that were recruited into the Nigerian police force, especially for Ake, and they will be trained and armed and all that, so that they can react. Look, the thing I just see is this. In his own case, not in the case of some other jokers that are just playing with buzzwords. In his case, I think that the Nigerian people must know, when you plant bamboo, you will keep going there and it will look like nothing is sprouting. But when it takes time, because it has to get tap-rooted, but when it starts sprouting, it's going to go so fast and so good. Tell me how anybody can be upset about the Calabar Corridor Road. If they are slow, they'll fix it up. That's construction issue. Why would you be upset about that? Why will anybody not see what's going to happen with the Sokoto Badagry Road? Do you know how it's going to open up our country and what kind of opportunity that will mean? See, I was tired of the demonization of all policies. I'm not getting younger. I've crossed 50. I've crossed 55. I don't want to believe that the things that frustrated Amolo, they didn't see the kind of country they wanted. The things that frustrated Ganifa and me, they didn't see the kind of country. Then I would also get old and I'll be asking myself, what did we do with all the knowledge, all the experience, and all the information? And whoever is president, Bola Tinubu, my brother and my father is president today, I can't like your own man. And you begrudge me for loving my own. We have been a little bit more balanced. They couldn't even have the courage to call their own out. We call our own out, not because we hate him, but because we want him to improve. And if I get one picture with him, in fact, I even think that I'll be doing that more often, because I don't understand where we got to a country where I can't go and greet the president when he invited. What kind of talk is this?
What kind of politics are we playing?
I know Atiku well anyway.
Okay.
Honestly, cross my heart up to that. I've not spoken to him. I mean, and him will have our issues. I'm telling you, I don't like that coalition thing he's doing. He should settle down. Let's do it this way. He's doing it this way. He has a right to do that. But I can guarantee you, Atiku is not the kind of man that deals with that kind of pettiness. Leaders have the burden of their so-called followers. And their followers with very limited knowledge act like, the way they act. And sometimes some of the things they do can irritate you so much until you give their leader a black slap.
I have to pause you here, sir. Yes, I'll pause you here. We have to take a short break. When we come back, we continue the conversation with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're still having this conversation with Segun Sowunmi, and Abigail is ready with another hot question.
All right, sir. Nigeria is steadily gearing towards the one-party system. As we see senators defecting and cross-carpeting to APC, almost everyone is trying to cross-carpet to APC. And seeing that you have always, is he there?
Yes, he is, I believe.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay. So seeing that you've always operated on the opposition side, do you think this will be a threat to democracy, or what's your thoughts on that? The one-party system that is looking like what we'll be experiencing in 2027.
You know, thank you. My heart bleeds that those who got the opportunity of the first bite of the cherry, that's the PDP, men like Obasanjo, Atiku, and the whole works. My heart bleeds that they do not understand that building democratic institutions to last is more useful in the long run to have stability in developmental policies of nations that can also ensure that they can have consistency. I am beyond distraught that this democracy has gotten to the point where rather than have parties being strong and the safeguard of democracy, we have reduced it to a cult of human personality. And this thing crept in, and those who should have prevented it did not do their job. I've been advocating and agonizing about it. I even asked that the PDP let me help reform it. I wasn't looking for it because I think that that position is a fancy position. But I knew that if they don't reform, it will be impossible for people to sit down in a sinking ship, especially one that is a self-inflicted injury. And what do you expect people, politicians, those who want to be friends with government, those who want to contest the election, what do you expect people to do? If there's an opening there, they will go. Let me tell you, I'm even afraid now, more afraid for the APC, that they could implode their party with the all-comers nonsense that is going on there.
Wow.
You all are witnesses to how I've wondered, and I've told him, the president too, democracy is a tedious work for those who have to run democracy as politicians. Power must be shared. Once you get power and you appropriate it all to yourself, whether you are doing the right thing or you are not doing the right thing, you will likely have a situation where stakeholders who should back you will leave. Not too long ago, I had a conversation with Babagana Kingibe. I've been looking for him for years. And I sat with him and I said, Daddy, why is this thing going this way? And I can tell you, for the benefit of all the work I do as a part, I deserve a national award. He said to me, he said, Segun, the main problem is that this particular administration seems not to be calling the people they called before they came into power. I said, okay, we'll talk about it so that they can improve it. Some of them don't need appointments anymore. How they designed our presidential system in such a way that a president is captured by maybe the trappings or even his aides, people can't reach him, people can't talk to him, people can't feel him. That's not right. And if the democracy breaks, or if it goes back to the fourth line of Awolowo is Yoruba and Namjazikwe is Igbo, Tafawa Balewa is Hausa, what's going to leave all the effort we have put into making sure we can have a pan-Nigerian country? These are the risks. So I'm not happy with it. I wish I was on the saddle so that I can whip them in line. But in the meantime, I can only advocate and push and hope and encourage them. And I've been here since 1998. My umbilical cord is not buried there. I'm even beginning to get irritated that they are bullying Bola Tinubu, my own person. Because the country runs on the pendulum. 8 years in the north, 8 years in the south. I've tried my best to get Peter to stand firm. Instead of him to let us go and build something, he's jumping here, jumping there, jumping there, jumping there, jumping with people that will not represent whatever it is we want to call new. I can accept that Ashadu Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the last president of that age grade. I can accept that. But I can't accept that we're going to now be stuck with people that are old and maybe their health will start to fail. Why would the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria become an old people's home? I don't agree. So if we're stuck with Ashadu Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I expect people to start planning for succession. And I told him, we must find the successor generation. And I am damn one of them.
Yes. So let me take a caller. We have a call on the line from Lagos. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Sowunmi, kudos to you. Anytime I see you on television talking, my mind will always be busy. But now I can see that you know what you are doing. People don't understand Tinubu. I have been saying, even though things are yet to be okay, but the man is in the right direction. People, everybody is feeling it. I'm feeling it too. But then, this man, God has brought him, but people used to understand how it could be by.
Okay, I don't think...
Are you still there?
She's gone.
Okay, you're gone.
Yeah, I am here.
Okay, yes. Let me ask a question before I come to you, Abigail.
You didn't really answer the last part of the question.
Which was?
I was asking, what's the fate of democracy should the one-party system see the light of day? I don't think I really heard his answer.
Okay, did you answer that?
I was disappointed in the...
Did you answer that?
So, but he didn't
If she reverses and listen, we're not looking for a yes or no answer. My style of communication is to teach, really. And I do the narrative in such a way that is stylized. I already said I don't even agree. I can't even accept that it's even inching to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question. What you think about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? If you would, if because we hear that he's going to be contesting 2027, if you think he's the major problem the PDP is having, and if you think he should go ahead and contest or he should rest it there.
You see, thank you. It's a tough question, but I've always answered it this way. We put a lower ceiling of entry. You must be 35 before you get in. We did not put a top ceiling, and therefore we cannot, in the real sense of the word, bully anybody from their aspiration. The aspiration that people have is legitimately theirs. And if they want to run with their aspiration, it is the duty of those who are running the political party, oh God, to figure out by self where lies the best place to pick a candidate that can drive us. With all of the best effort of the last election in America, they brought Biden and he couldn't go far, then they changed it. She ran the most ghastly campaign she could run, but the Donald Trump won. That's how democracy works. Democracy promises you a seat at the table, a right of participation. The suffrage of who will win and who will not win is with the people. And therefore, if you have a clean election, a relatively clean election, you have a judiciary that people must trust, then the democracy is working. Otherwise, if you say what will happen in a one-party state, there are some, all the nations in the world are not running multi-party American-style democracy now. And some of them are even scaling up on development and achieving whatever. But the question I asked the Chinese when I saw their leadership is that, oh, you people, you say you have moved 700 people out of poverty. I asked him, if I were to go to your villages, will I meet happy citizens? They got the message. The people like freedom. People must have an idea of freedom. But it cannot be that we will now not know that in a global world, we have a duty to also be these ambassadors of our own country. We can't be using assets that are available, Twitter, Facebook, and all that, only to be insisting that we'll be shaming our people, we'll be increasing the level of hate and mistrust between tribes. I've championed these things. So the answer to your question is, I don't believe we should go in that route. But I also know people are not going to sit back and allow a bunch of clowns to make a mess of their own ambition, even their sanity. It's not so hard to run a political party now. It's only interest. And what is even this interest? Half the time they're only looking at who's going to bribe them, who's going to give them money. And even when they get the money, have you not even looked at it? What have they even done with it? What quality of life are they even living? We are like beggars in Rolls Royce. People buy cars that ordinarily does not even reflect that they should be buying that kind of car for the kind of road where they live, but they are happy to do it. And tax enforcement in the country is so weak. People are not even being called upon to come and pay commensurate taxes relative to the luxury. These are the things we're talking about. So
I have to pause you here. We have a caller on the line who wants to speak to you. Yakubu from Dokwebo.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Yakub.
And Sister Toko, good morning. Sister Yeni, good morning. And then one of our guests, so good morning. Obi, yesterday I watched Mr. Segun Sowunmi on one of the sister stations. Before now, some of us that have one heart in APC, especially in local area like Dopemu here, because for me, some of us play some kind of a role for this government to be in place, even though it may not know to the Mr. President and other people in the hierarchy of the party. But as a Nigerian, I always tell people this. Some of us, including me, Mr. George from the Ikeja, Reverend Dominic, and the rest of us, we are not supporting this government because of saying we are looking for something. Some of us support this government because we want a better country. And then yesterday when I watched Mr. Segun Sowunmi, I was like, hey, this is one of the persons that we are looking at. How do we go to tackle this guy? Because when he's talking about opposition, he talk with the facts. Sometimes he talk with facts. Sometimes he's also biased of time. But yesterday when I look at this guy, and then Mr. Segun Sowunmi was not telling us that President Tinubu is a mentally alert, physically alert, and then he said all sorts of things that I say, hey, Mr. Segun Sowunmi of all people. Now, I want to say this to Mr. Segun Sowunmi. Now that they have visited Mr. President, I want to applaud you, and then I want you to stand as the way you always stand. Because a democracy without opposition, for example, personally, I don't like it. Because we need to put our government in toes. We need to put them on their toes. Because let me give you two examples here, because of the time. Mr. Segun Sowunmi, now I know that you have direct line to Mr. President, if not that you have somebody that Mr. President will get to listen to us. Number one, there's some policy. I personally that I support the government. We don't like such policy. Okay. Number one policy is this. When we are talking about gas engine, I think you know what I'm talking about. They were telling us that we should convert our car or our buses to CNG. We should have ourselves. How much is this conversion? Mr. Segun Sowunmi, are you listening to me? Yes. How much is this conversion? The conversion of 4 plots of the car is 1,250,000.
He has mentioned it before. He's mentioned it again. It is a major issue of concern to him.
Mr. Segun?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
In the Obasanjo years, the economy was quite depressed, and part of the policy of monetization or infusing new energy into the country was what allowed, that cash back and all that we now had a lot of people having cars. But hey, the cost of buying a car at that time, a civil servant who probably had about 180,000 or something could get some kind of car. You see, the money, the quantity of theory of money and the value of money is the thing that the Nigerian people are not really educated on. The monies of a nation, however you like it, that you want to take things cheaply, the only things you can really take cheaply, if you are able to scale up, are the things you produce locally. You can't tell the person that is making one equipment how much is going to sell it. I'm not their spokesperson. He has not challenged me for that. He's not even going to be able to pay for all the amount of defense I'm doing. But the point I'm making is that I understand how they want to have electronic cars in Europe, and it took Shimon Peres, the former Prime Minister of Israel, to bring a young man in and say, okay, this electronic car, how do we charge the batteries? And got all the multi people that do cars into a dinner, and they figured out that solution. The world has electronic cars now. When men of vision are speaking today, the painful thing is that it takes time for you to see the gestation and the manifestation of this thing. If you have a gas-driven car, or a combined gas and petrol-driven car, it's cheaper. It's better for the ozone layer if you can afford it. When we started GSM, even we, the PDP, the cost of GSM was an arm and a leg. Today, is there anybody that truly can't afford a SIM? Is there anybody that doesn't really have a phone, no matter how either cheap or not cheap? These things, you see, Let us accept one thing. Our generation are living on the past glory of the previous generation. The fella Nikolako Kutiba Mabeda and Co. To tell you that because of Yeni, my sister, and the Abiolas and the Olos and all that, the Atababa Lewas and the Okpara. We are the ones now to build what the next generation is going to live on.
True.
Are we going to spend all our time just pulling ourselves down, hating ourselves, destroying our country, and then when maybe they are gone, like them Bola, they are older than us, if it follows the order of things, and them Atiku, they go, are we going to be stuck with a country where we can't even have a conversation among ourselves before it becomes, they will support their man, they are not bigots. 1 second, when I support a man, my own man know that I'm even been criticizing unduly and maybe a bit too much, given our relationship. I will now start being a bigot. Point I'm making is that it's their duty to explain their policy.
Yeah.
It's their duty to try to think about it. But the areas where I have issues with, I try to tell him in a way that he may get, and he gets it. I asked him about agriculture, that look, our people are hungry, what are we going to do? He said, Segun, I'm already opening up big lands all over, even in the zones. And I'm going to give them all the tractors and everything. I'm going to buy some bulldozers now. Then I asked him, what about my Ogun? He said, have I not just given them the ability to have cotton and maybe begin to export cotton? He said, these things are not easy. I'm doing everything humanly possible. My heart is with the Nigerian people. And I understand their prayer. And then I asked him another question I must tell you. I said, what about this local government money? He said, Segun, I went to that court because I just wanted the money to get to the local government so that our people can feel it. And I said, are you not going to bully the governor? He said, Segun, democracy will give me problem. I have to go through the courts. How can I be talking to the president at that level and somebody think that I went there to go and be talking about who's going to eat semovita tomorrow morning? Do I tell you that I'm hungry?
Thank you, sir. Why can't you have a question for me?
Okay. Let me deviate a bit. There are some APC members, disgruntled APC members, who have left the APC, like El Rufai. Rotimi Amechi hasn't left, but he's disgruntled. Then there is the PDP members who are disgruntled, like Wike. I want to know your relationship with Wike first.
Okay, let me take the Nasiru one, then I'll tell you what me and him discussed about Wike. I asked him, I said, it's a bit painful when people struggle and support when it was very hard. They shouldn't be feeling that they are disregarded and all that. He said to me, he said, Segun, I know Nasiru and I like Nasiru and I love Nasiru. It's just that when things don't go exactly the way he wants immediately, his reaction can, tilt things in all sorts of ways. I said, well, he's younger than you. It's your duty to call him in and embrace him and make sure you keep your word. And then I asked him about Wike. I said, sir, I worry that the energy and the garrulosity and all of these things is beginning to be a bit much. What do you say to that? And this thing in Rivers. He said, Segun, Wike is that type of special breed that he lives his truth and speaks his truth, and I respect him for that. He said, for me to be able to maneuver, lest he will remove that governor completely, I had to step in quickly to get them to douse tension. I even have to tell him, okay, Wike, don't be angry. I don't want that guy to be lost, and I don't want the Nigerian people to... Can you imagine asking the president that? So those who are decamping, some of them are going to be disappointed. It is value you must create so that wherever you are, people will chase you with whatever it is you say you want. If you chase after what they have, are you a thief? How much of it can they give you? But when you try to create value, you will find out that even when they engage you, they see value. And somebody who thinks himself as a potential president, do you think I will not be mindful of the fact that I will lose all my people who think I'm a champion of the oppressed? But I just don't want us to be glamorizing anger. That was why I told Peter, Claire, you are now a big voice in our country. It is not your responsibility to go all over the world just demarcating the nation. What's wrong with you? On top of that, you don't be shouting production. If they ask you a question, I can't even answer it. So the point I'm making is that If you are for Nigeria, whether you're APC, PDP, or whatever you call it, I'm for you. But if your idea is you hate the country, you want us to implode, you will not see anything good, you want the country to be, cloning themselves, Yoruba this, outside this, I don't have time for that. I will fight you if I can. I will fight you because I know that at the end of the day, you will spend your time and go.
Okay.
And you're going to leave the mess of that your divisive type of doing things. You're going to leave it here.
Mr.
Can your children cope?
Mr. Segun, we'd like to take a short break so we can drink water. And then when we come back, we'll come back to you. Thank you so much. Welcome back. We still have Segun Sowunmi in the house and we're still asking questions. I would like to ask a question. Senator Ali Ndume had come out to say that, the president is getting a lot of endorsements, but it really wouldn't matter at the polls because even one of our ex-presidents, Goodluck Jonathan, got a lot of endorsements. But by the time they got to the poll, he said something different. What do you think about that?
People, Senator Ali Ndume, I know he knows me a bit. There are two types of thinkers around the political space and how election run. There are those thinkers who believe that there are two variables to worry about, money and the numbers. That means you have some money, whatever the figure you call, you are chasing numbers. Ashadi is not like that too, because I know. He is on the second side, which is science of it, determining where to put the money and the numbers will come. Look, I swear, oh God, if they call the election today, those who boast unduly about their exclusive ownership of population will be shocked that within that environment, they can't even create the type of numbers that the APC machinery and Bola Tinubu can create. I'm experienced on all aspects. I ran the spokesperson campaign in 2019. I did same for 2023. I've gone around the country. I know what to look out for. I know how to go into a field and just look with the point of view of an experienced enumerator. My background is actuarial science. That's financial mathematics mixed with a lot of science. You see, they just make assumptions. Ndume, his party is a very mild party. And that's part of the reason how they destroyed the political space. The kind of thing that my party allowed there is the kind of nonsense they align with Ndume. If I were the chairman of the PDP, of the APC, I would have expelled him. He's a senator of the Federal Republic from his party. His duty is not to be running from one television after the other, acting as if he's the patron deity of opposition. If you hate your party so much, leave. If you think they'll be shocked. It's Jonathan Bola Tinubu is the infrastructure for managing communication and on all of the issues there. The creatives, is it the same with the people from that zone and our zone? Does he even understand what kind of assets goes into planning election before you get to the day of the poll? Ndume has been picking, he's been lucky. The gods have been cracking his palm kernel for him. Has Ndume gone to ask the governor of his state and the vice president whether they are on the same page with him? Does he have the same gravitas with Zulum? I went to meet President Muhammadu Buhari. I said to him, I said, sir, I don't like the fact that everything is only happening for the Northwest. What about the Northeast? What about the Northeast? He said, Segun, for your generation, if that's what you are talking about, you are looking at who is a good presidential material in the Northeast in your generation. Go and look at Zulum. He said, look at how he's tackling insurgency. Look at this. And that is, you did not see Ndume there. Why didn't the president signpost Ndume? I hate when people are just misbehaving. This is the thing that destroyed PDP. If APC like, they should sit down there and let it destroy them now. Political parties have to be a little bit more disciplined. Yeah. It is indiscipline that led PDP to where it is. And I'm seeing that same indiscipline creeping into APC. Democratic leadership is just democratic leadership. It doesn't mean it's weak leadership. Leaders and managers of government have responsibilities that are very serious. You don't just leave it to be the law of the land, the dog drag this in, the cat drag that in. They are using their big voices to shame your country, to shame the country, to instigate citizens, to stimulate potential riot and implosion. And some people are sitting down there claiming that they are running the country and they are playing. I will not play. It's up to them. I don't have that responsibility.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Can I?
You are not checking the time.
Take one more
Yeah,
question.
enjoying it.
I was going to ask, it has been said that the posts in this government is geared more towards the west, southwest. So a lot of like the southeasterners are disgruntled. A lot of the northerners are disgruntled. They're saying the president is employing more Yoruba people. And if I'm not mistaken, you two have said that. What is your opinion?
Yes.
Now? Okay.
God bless you. When I saw him, we talked about that. I said, we have a responsibility to make the Southeasterners feel included. The Civil War was a national trauma for all of us. We must go out of our way to let them understand that we should leave that behind. I myself had gone to Enugu to go and beg and say, forgive all the trespasses. This is a new generation. And you know what he told me? He said, I'm working very hard to redress some of these errors. That's why it is their man, Umahi, that has the big energy of infrastructure. He said, that's why I gave them command post with Ogala. I'm only doing the best we can do. That lopsidedness that you guys complain about, have you not noticed that I have started changing it? He said it only happened because when you want to do something great, sometimes it is the people you think have that greatness that first come to mind. But he has heard and he has started to make sure that there is balance. What else are you going to ask the president?
Okay. Let me just throw in one question. We've been speaking about the president, but we know that for governance to really reach, we need the governors, we need the local government chairman. And I would like to ask you, what's your take on the PDP governors and the APC governors? Would you just say, which of the governors have impressed you with their delivering of
policies?
Democracy, benefits of democracy to the citizens? Thank you.
Did you get the question, sir?
Sir, I was asking about governors. Did you get my question?
Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
All right. I was asking about the governors. Aside from the presidency we spent so much time talking about, are there governors that have impressed you with their deliverables across parties, APC and PDP? Governors that
by
you feel...
miles, Lagos State, by miles.
Okay. After Lagos State?
The guy in Enugu, my own, the one that is PDP in Enugu.
Okay.
I went to him. Listen, I went there and I said, this low Earth orbit satellite that I've been screaming about to make you have a position where you sit somewhere and you can see what's going on for insecurity. He showed me the one he had done, and I became livid. If Enugu can do it, what are the subnationals? What are the other governors doing?
Yeah.
Why can't they do it? If there is technology today that you can have a low Earth orbit satellite that allows you to sit in a control room and look at your space, so you see the miscreants and the people that are misbehaving, and you pick them just like that. So there are a few good places, but hey, look at the guy in what's his name in Adamawa. You know, I know that place because that's Atiku, so I go there from time to time. Go and look at the amount of infrastructural revolution he has done there.
Wow.
I was just going to ask about him.
Amazing. We have to go. We have to go.
Thank
you so much.
What about our own, Dr. Abiodun?
Ogun State. We have to go.
Let us just thank God that at least we are the one that won Mr. Steez, the fashion designer of the year in Ojo.
That's something. That's something. Yes, you're right. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun Sowunmi, for visiting the president. You've accomplished something significant by confirming the president's mental and physical well-being. Your actions have also helped to clarify that opposition doesn't necessarily mean enmity. We all share a common goal, building our nation regardless of who is in office. The country belongs to us all, and it's our collective duty to contribute to its growth. So you are an epitome of that. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And thank you for joining us to share with us today. Thank you, ladies, for your contributions. Thank you, YK.
Very interesting show.
It was a politics Tuesday.
Mr. Segun Sowunmi held the show for the entire day.
So politics Tuesday.
But it threw my governor under the...
your governor needs to sit up. That's all we can take on the show today. Thank you so much, ladies. And that's all we can take. We'll see you again tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye now.